Hi and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Jamie Lee. Today is another video as part of my brand review series where I will be reviewing the brand Jenni Kayne. So this video is going to be sort of my thoughts on the wear and tear of these items, sort of whether I think they're worth splurging on, as this is a little bit more of a premium price point. I'm also going to show you how everything fits, along with a little bit of styling for each of the items that I have. And then at the end, I'm going to share some additional thoughts about the brand. So I'm going to run through in this order. We're going to start with sweaters, then we're going to move on to the other tops that I have, and then we're going to move into dresses, and then I also have a jacket as well. Then I will share my thoughts at the end. I'm going to have a little menu on screen here with the timestamps in case you want to skip through to a specific portion. Everything that I mention in this video will be linked down in the description box below. I also just want to mention this, I do have a 15% off discount code. It's JamieLee15, so this is off all clothing on the website. So if you actually do want to place an order, this is a great way to save a little bit of money. So I'm going to have that on screen. Again, details down in the description box. And for full disclosure, a number of these items were gifted to me as part of their ambassador program. However, that doesn't really change me sharing my 100% honest thoughts. Now I feel like we should start at the very beginning with the sweater that kind of started it all, my foray into the brand Jenni Kayne, and it is the Alpaca Cocoon Crewneck. I purchased this during the Black Friday sales last year, so in 2021. And to me, this was a bit of a big splurge, especially from an unknown brand that I wasn't really familiar with, and that is a little bit less accessible if you live in a country like Australia, as you can't return your items. I'm going to talk a bit more about that at the end of the video. But I really love the style and the fact that this particular pullover or sweater is really oversized, really kind of cozy, and that was exactly what I was craving at that point in time. It was something I really wanted to incorporate into my closet. So this retails for $295. I'm wearing it in the size small and the cutaways, and this is a blended fabric, so I'm just gonna tell you what the composition is, as I think this sort of thing is helpful. It's 70% baby alpaca, 23% polyamide, and 7% wool. So I don't find this particularly itchy or anything. It kind of has this quite sort of fluffy component, but I do think when you're touching the fabric, you can tell that there is that polyamide aspect to the composition, as it almost has this slightly synthetic feel mixed in with the kind of natural texture of the alpaca and the wool. So if you don't like that, then you may prefer to kind of consider, if you like the style, in the cashmere, which is a little bit more expensive, but you'll get the same look, just a different fabrication. So yeah, this is incredibly oversized. I'm 172 centimeters tall for height reference, and I feel like it's a really good one to wear over a slip skirt or with a slim fitting trouser. It does tuck, but you do end up with quite a bit of bulk around your torso. So I would maybe recommend doing the tuck under the bra if you want to wear it that way, so it's a little bit more cropped. In terms of actually laundering this, I am terrified to put this in the washing machine and to hand wash it myself, which is something I would normally do. But because it has the polyamide aspect, I've had really negative experiences washing and hand washing fabrications like that in the past. So for me, this is a dry clean only, please. I have gotten a couple of little marks on it. I think I got some coffee on it or something. I do have a 2.5-year-old and a baby, so I am prone to getting just odd stains sometimes on some of my clothing, and I have spot cleaned this and it's been absolutely fine. So that is also an option, so I did want to mention it. Overall, I really like this sweater. I think if you are looking for an oversized style, then this will really kind of give you that look. And in terms of sizing, I think given my height, going for my true size worked. However, if you are petite, I would recommend sizing down 1 or potentially even 2 sizes, just because you may find that the style really overwhelms your frame otherwise, and potentially you might want to look at one of their cropped sweaters instead as an alternative. So that's the alpaca knit. Oh, and I forgot to say, yes, it has pilled. I will show you some close-ups. I have not used a fabric shaver or a wool comb on this yet, just because I really wanted to show you from a wear and tear perspective. I've worn this probably about 20 times or so, I would say. It's not dreadful, but it is the type of thing that I would want to look after and maintain after the season is over. Seeing as we're already talking about alpaca, let's move on to the Alpaca Cocoon cardigan. So I have this style actually in the cashmere as well, and I'm gonna talk about that one next. So This one here, you can kind of see it has this really beautiful knitted texture to it. I really love the fact that it adds this really beautiful visual component to your outfits when you're wearing something like this. This one here I got in the size small, and I do find this Cocoon cardigan style does fit very oversized. So again, if you are more on the petite end of the spectrum, you might like to size down. I do believe that the sizing information on the website suggests or recommends sizing down for a still oversized fit, but that is maybe a little bit more intentional if that's what you're after. Again, this has that exact same sort of fluffy kind of feel to the fabric, feels exactly the same as the alpaca knit that I just shared before. Personally, I actually prefer the cashmere version of this cardigan. However, I do think if maybe budget is something that you're considering, then this is also a good option. But again, like I said, I would probably be taking this one to the dry cleaners to launder it, so you will have that ongoing cost if you're doing the same. Whereas the cashmere one, I have actually laundered that one at home and felt very comfortable in doing so because I'm experienced with washing cashmere. So I did just want to flag that one. It comes in 3 different colors. I have the oatmeal, which is quite a cool toned oaty brown color, which I really like, and the fact that it has sort of a textured flecked appearance. And this one retails for $345. Okay, so the Cashmere Cocoon cardigan. I have worn this so much. This one retails for $445, and I have it in a size small, and I believe the color I've got is called Russet, which is this beautiful rich brown. It's kind of a cocoa brown with a bit of a cool tone to it, and again, it does have that really beautiful knitted texture similar to the alpaca one, but it's just slightly tighter. It's a slightly tighter knit, as you can see. The cashmere that they've used, unbelievably soft. Like, I'm very happy with the quality of the cashmere. It is not too thick, not too thin, it's somewhere in the middle, and I find that this keeps me really nice and warm. There's a really good selection of neutrals, earthy tones that will work well in any wardrobe, and I think that this particular style is a really good basic to have, especially if you just want something that's comfy, cozy, that you can throw on over your outfits. This is 100% cashmere, and yeah, I will say it will pill. You'll find this pretty much with every single cashmere knit that you ever add to your wardrobe. It is going to pill, so you do need to make sure you have those maintenance tools handy. I will link them down below as well, just so that you can see if you don't have any of those in your wardrobe. But yeah, I absolutely adore this knit. It has been one of my most worn items and most cherished pieces in my closet since I received it. I think it was in April, and it's really held up well, and it's held its own next to all of the other items that I already have in my closet and I wear continuously on repeat. This comes in a crop version, which I think might be better if you are petite, because then you're not going to have something that is overly long unless you're after that super slouchy look. And if you want something that's kind of going to elevate those slouchier, cozier outfits that you are wearing. In terms of the price point, it is very expensive, and I do think that you can get alternatives which are really nice. Maybe they're not quite exactly the same as this, but they'll give you a similar look. Quince is probably the brand that I would suggest. I'm going to link theirs down in the description box below, as I've had really positive experiences with their cashmere sweaters and cashmere cardigans, but they're much more affordable, or at least a much more friendly price point for the wallet. So did want to flag that, but this to me is a little bit more luxurious, and definitely something that I see holding up and kind of staying in my closet for many years to come. So if you have the budget and you're happy to spend a little bit more, then I don't think that you can really go wrong with this. And that's kind of my 100% honest thoughts after wearing it and loving this so much. Okay, next we have the cable knit cardigan, and this one retails for $375. This one is 100% cotton, and it's a really nice kind of soft but thick cotton, so it's going to keep you really warm, a good option for the transitional seasons. And I have it in the kind of ivory color, and it has these beautiful frosted tortoiseshell buttons. I do think this one is a little bit more high maintenance just because of the open style weave of the cable knit. So if you are wearing sort of rings or jewelry that have open claws or elements that might snag your knitwear, you need to be a little bit careful when you are wearing this one. This is a really nice sweater, but again, I do think if I were spending that much money on a sweater, I would probably think to just spend a little bit more and opt for the cashmere one, which if you live in sort of a milder or temperate climate, you may find that you can actually get away with wearing that in the summertime too, even though it is, you know, a slightly warmer piece, just because this is quite a heavy option for what it is, but really, really lovely. This one to me feels a little bit more preppy and really leans into that whole coastal grandma trend. And this one I actually have in a size extra small, and you can see in the cutaways how oversized and slouchy it is on me despite the fact that I've sized down. And I would say the fit of this, it seems to me to be the same as with the Cocoon cardigan. Okay, next we have my other favorite sweater. This one is called the Oversized Crewneck, and this retails for $395. It is 50% cotton and 50% recycled cashmere, and I really like that the brand is using recycled cashmere within their fabric compositions and within their knitwear. It doesn't exactly have the same softness as a virgin cashmere knit might have, but it is still really soft and it's going to keep you really nice and warm. This one I don't find itchy at all because the cashmere is blended with the cotton. Not that I find cashmere itchy, just to highlight, but I do think if you have particularly sensitive skin, then this could be a great alternative for you. As mentioned, I've got the size small, and it's a really slouchy fit, and it comes, I would say, a little bit below the hip on me. I really like the way it looks worn loose, and then you kind of put your hands in your pockets or in your trouser pockets, and it's just very slouchy and very comfortable, which is kind of a key part of, or cornerstone of, my personal style. And I love the color of it. It's a sort of blue toned and a cool blue toned grey, which is, I think, really kind of pretty and a little bit more unique and unexpected in terms of a grey option. It does also come in a kind of, it looks like an oaty color on the website, which I really like. I kind of hope that they expand the color range in this, because it is a style that I would 100% go out and purchase another one in, despite the fact that it is a little bit more of a premium price point. This one's held up really well, and actually I haven't noticed any pilling. I've worn this so much. I took it with me when I went to New Zealand for a recent trip, and it was just such a fave of mine because it is so easy to throw on, and I feel like it looks really put together. If you are petite, again, I might recommend sizing down, and this is going to be a bit of a running thread with all of the items that I talk about, actually, if you haven't noticed already. But that one is a winner, and I do think that it's probably the mix of the cotton and the cashmere which is helping to make this a little bit more resistant against pilling. Last sweater that I have is the Cocoon Crewneck, and this one I have in the kind of oatmeal color. This is a really lovely fabric for the warmer months because it is a cotton and linen blend. So it has this kind of, I would say it's almost got this slight bit of rigidity to it, but not in a way that feels uncomfortable. It's sort of a little bit more textured, and it doesn't feel quite so soft in the way that you might imagine a sweater would. It almost has this very kind of robust feeling to the fabric, which is something that you really get with linen. It is, you know, one of the strongest fibers. So again, I have this in a small, and it is a really, really slouchy fit. You'll see how it looks worn loose on me. Again, if you're petite, you might like to size down. It comes in, I believe this one comes in 2 colors, and I think this is a really good one to have even if you just want to throw something over your shoulders, draped over like a little bit of a shawl. This is a really good one for that perspective, as it does have those really nice long sleeves as well, and that's kind of a running theme with a lot of the sweaters. I really, really like it. I don't know what to say. Again, this has not pilled because it is a cotton linen blend, so you don't have to worry about that. So if you want something that's a little bit more low maintenance, but it is still reasonably heavy weight and it's going to keep you warm, this is a good option. I do find that the yarn, it does seem a little bit more open. I don't know if you can tell here. So I would kind of layer it with a t-shirt or with a camisole underneath if it was a particularly cool day and I just wanted to retain a bit of extra warmth around my torso. So that is my knitwear stash from Jenni Kayne. Now I want to move on to the top. Sorry, this is going to be a very long video. I'm going to try and zip through the rest of the items. So next we've got the vintage pocket tee. This one is $85. I have it in a size small. In terms of the cut, I think it is really, really beautiful, but it's $85. I did a video on the best basic t-shirts. I'm going to link it up here. And I think $85 is a lot of money to spend on a t-shirt, and what I found in that video is that this is an area in your closet that I think is maybe not necessarily worth splurging on unless you want to. If you really like the look of these t-shirts and you like the way that they hang and drape and fall, the fabric is really nice. The cotton they've used is beautiful, but I will say it will pill. And I need to get a fabric shaver, so that is something I would be a little bit disappointed about. If I was buying this, I was gifted this particular one, and it's rubbed where my shoulder strap from my handbag has sort of laid against the fabric. So this is one that will require maintenance, but the seams haven't warped, so they haven't twisted, which is great because that can be an issue with other t-shirts. So just a couple things to sort of bear in mind. Otherwise, I really like this. I wear it loads, but as I said, I'd be disappointed if I bought it and then I found it pilled after wearing it sort of 10 times. Next we have the boyfriend shirt, which retails for $195. This is kind of the classic oversized shirt, like you've stolen it from your boyfriend's closet. It's a cotton poplin, so it has that beautiful kind of cotton poplin, has a little bit of a crispiness to it, which I really like. It almost feels a little bit formal, but the really kind of loose fit of this and also the longer fit does give it a bit of ease and makes it feel a bit more effortless and relaxed. I think this is a really beautiful shirt, which you could easily wear for the office as well. You're just going to have a bit of extra fabric around your torso when you tuck it in. A really good one for wearing with leggings, and actually a style that would be great to wear open, almost like a jacket too. It's a really beautiful quality cotton poplin, and I'm really happy with it. I don't know if you can see the white here. You can actually see my hand through, so it is ever so slightly sheer. It's not fully opaque, so something to bear in mind. But I really like the fit of it. I've got the size small, and that's really all I have to say. I think it's really nice. It's a nice version of what it is, but if you don't quite have the budget, lots of brands do shirts like this, so you can easily get something a little bit more affordable, even just shopping the men's section at Uniqlo, and it will give you a similar sort of a vibe. Next we have the Hampton shirt, which I have in the stripe. So this is a collarless shirt. It's a popover style, so that means that the buttons don't actually extend the full way down the front of the shirt. This one is in a cotton and polyester blend. It's a size small. This is probably my least favorite shirt that I have from the brand. The reason being that I just find it's probably not really that suited to my personal style. It feels a little bit more maybe preppy than I would usually go for. And also I don't necessarily love the way the fabric feels. It is a little bit more raw feeling than say the cotton poplin shirt, which has this very nice smooth hand feel to it. This one feels a little bit more sort of textured, and while it is sort of soft and it has this nice kind of drape to it, you can kind of see it's the type of fabric that will tuck into pants really nicely. I just have other shirts in my wardrobe that I would prefer to wear over this one. If you love this style and you're able to potentially return it, might be one worth trying out, but yeah, as mentioned, not my favorite. I had the size small and would say that this one, it's a little bit more of a slimmer cut compared to the other styles, so I would say stick with your true size. And it does have a longer length to it as well, which is sort of very, very typical of Jenni Kayne shirts and tops. The next top I have is called the long sleeved Willow blouse, and this is one of the newer styles from the brand. Retails for $275, and it is a viscose and wool blend. It almost has a cheesecloth feel to the fabric, which is just so beautiful to touch. I love it, and actually this is probably my favorite top that I have in my closet from the brand. It's a collarless style, buttons all the way down the front, and actually this one is cut a little bit shorter, so perfect for tucking into jeans and trousers. Looks really nice actually like that. I have the size small and would say stick true to size for a kind of billowy sort of a look. I think that's really nice, and it has these beautiful billowy sleeves as well. So definitely one I think is worth maybe splurging on if you've been looking for something like that to add to your closet. The final shirt that I have is called the beach shirt. Sorry, there's a thread on here. This one retails for $195, and this one is a cotton poly blend, which I think is down to the seersucker nature of the fabric. This is essentially a tunic, a beach cover up, and it looks really beautiful worn open, but then you could also wear it out as well, maybe belted at the waist. Has a little pocket here. I have the size small and would say for what it is, maybe stick true to size. Unless you're petite, you may like to sort of size down so that you have a little bit less fabric. Again, I actually think that you don't need a specific beach cover up like this. An oversized cotton shirt would do the trick just as well, but if you like the texture of the fabric, then this could definitely be one to consider. Just keeping in mind it is a little bit of a higher price point, and for me, I would personally want to be adding something in my closet that was 100% cotton for that, as I don't really think that the polyester component is adding anything particularly special, and I think that the same sort of look could probably be achieved with a 100% natural fiber piece. Okay, so next we have dresses, and I've got 3. I'm going to talk about them all at the same time. 2 are 100% cotton and 1 is a raw silk. So the cotton ones, we have the Cove dress and the drift dress. These both retail for $295, and from a sizing perspective, these are really, really roomy and oversized. I would recommend sizing down. I actually think of the two that the Cove dress is a little bit more flattering, and I like that it has the adjustable straps as well. It means that you can really kind of customize the fit to you. Whereas the drift dress, this one, I actually don't really like the way it looks on me too much. I don't think it does me any favors, though the fabric is really beautiful. They're both double lined, so they aren't sheer at all, which is great, but the drift dress you can't wear a bra with. I have them both in a size small and would definitely be better served with an extra small. They retail for $295. Then we have the Riviera slip dress, and I feel like Jenni Kayne does these slip dresses really well. I have this again in the small, but I think the extra small would have been better. These are $325 and they're a raw silk, and the fabric is just so beautiful. It kind of has this nubby texture to it, which I really like. It makes it really visually interesting, and it has the deep V, so it's really quite dramatic. It does also have those adjustable straps again. This is probably my favorite of the 3 dresses, and I think a really easy one to layer as well, because it does have this quite sort of movable fabric to it, and this one again, I think because it is the raw silk, very sort of easy to launder, I would probably just hand wash this one. The final piece of clothing I have from Jenni Kayne is the corduroy jacket, and this is kind of a work style jacket. This is in a faded black color, charcoal, and this is 97% cotton and 3% spandex, and this retails for $375. These sorts of jackets are really trendy at the moment, and I think this is a really good version of that style. For one, the corduroy adds some really interesting and fun texture, feels really cozy, but also I think from a stylistic detail, they've really nailed it here, because there are these buttons at the back so that you can actually just cinch it in ever so slightly to give it more of a tapered fit at the waist, which I think is really genius. The quality of this is really lovely, and it feels quite kind of plush and almost velvety to the touch. I have the size small and would say it fits true to size for a bit of a boxy, oversized fit. Lastly, I've got 2 pairs of sandals to chat through, and this was definitely the area of the brand that I was most curious about, because I think shoes are really tricky to order online. I'm a true European 40 and I have wide feet, and I got both of these shoes in the European 40. I'll have all my sizing details down below. First pair I got are the leather knot sandals. These retail for $375 and come in a few different colors. I have the black. These are actually quite lightweight for what they are. I was expecting them to be heavier, and the sole is kind of slightly cushioned but firm at the same time. So I find them quite comfortable to walk in. The leather that they've used for the knot section is sort of robust and sturdy again, but it's really soft too. So I wore these, and I actually wore them for quite a considerable walk the first time that I put them on, and they didn't give me a single blister, which is really a hallmark of a comfortable shoe like this, and you don't want to have to wear in shoes like these. Overall, I think the quality is really, really beautiful. Really, really lovely. The only thing I will say is that I do kind of feel like maybe I would have been better served sizing up, as when I am walking, my toes kind of slip towards the front of the shoe, and you may find if you have narrow feet that these feel a little bit too big on you, or that your feet are kind of swimming in them, and that your feet slip forward a little bit more. So maybe a style I would recommend more for those with a wide foot. The other shoe that I have from the brand is called the leather strap sandal. These again I have in the European 40, and these ones fit very true to size. These have a toe strap and then also another leather strap across the foot. They're very dainty and elegant, and to me a really simple option for the summer, something that I sort of foresee myself wearing a lot as we head into the warmer months here in Australia. These, unlike the knot sandals I just showed you, don't really have any support in the sole. The sole is very, very firm, so if you have flat feet, you may find these aren't really an option for you, but these are going to be suitable regardless of whether you have narrow or wide feet. One thing I will say is that you will get a bit of rubbing where the toe post is, at least initially. It will kind of wear, so these aren't going to be 100% comfortable the very first time you put them on like the knot sandals will be. But a really beautiful option, and for me, I think probably the ones that you'll see me wearing the most out of the two, as I think that they're quite kind of elegant and refined. So that is a look at all the items I have from Jenni Kayne, and hopefully this has been a really comprehensive and detailed review for you, especially if you've had your eye on any of these particular items. Now, kind of moving on to my final thoughts, when I think of Jenni Kayne as a brand, I sort of see it as being a bit of a lifestyle brand. It's very kind of California cool, very sort of easy and relaxed, kind of has a bit of that coastal grandma feel to it, and all of the items, all of the designs really lean into and are a huge nod to that particular aesthetic, which I think makes for really kind of easy, effortless dressing, and I'm quite into that at the moment. I do find that the price point is a little bit more on the high or premium side, so these are going to be much more splurge worthy items, and I think if you are considering buying just one item from the brand, I would maybe suggest one of their cashmere knit sweaters, as I just think the quality is beautiful and it's going to be something that you'll end up loving and wearing for years. But a good reminder that you don't necessarily need to splurge on items from this brand. You can maybe look at the aesthetic and sort of see how the brand is styling pieces, and then maybe look to think about how you might be able to replicate that look and that vibe with either more affordable items or things that you already own in your closet. The other thing I want to mention is that if you live outside the US and you're within one of their shipping countries, you don't actually have the option for returns. So anything you purchase is considered final sale. And so that means you need to be really, really careful about what you're actually deciding to buy. When you're buying things like sweaters or outerwear or blouses, you have a little bit more freedom and flexibility with the sizing. But when it comes to things that have a fixed waist, like say the trousers, even the dresses, you'll see on me, they do look quite voluminous, and I am, you know, quite tall, so I can handle a little bit more volume. You're going to be a bit stuck if you find that you get the wrong size. You may need to get them tailored, and shoes obviously a really tricky one. So hopefully me sharing my thoughts on the sizing of the shoes has been particularly helpful for you. But that is just one of the downsides, and I hope in the future they will open up international returns, as I think it'll make the brand a little bit more accessible. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up here. This is such a long video. Thank you if you made it all the way to the end. If you are new here and you want to see more videos like this from me, then please hit subscribe. Let me know which brand you want to see next in my review series, and I'll see you soon with a brand new video. Thanks for watching. Bye.